In response to my opponent's earlier statements, I would like to start off by saying that earlier on, Jerry Brown had started his own tax initiative by himself, and it was more focused on taxing everyone, recovering on the budget. But eventually, Jerry Brown fused with the millionaire tax, which focuses more on taxing millionaires to fund the school system. And so even Jerry Brown recognized that the school system was not doing well, and that the lower middle class couldn't take much more taxation while the upper class still has plenty of opportunity. My opponents also pointed out that what needs to be cut is public employee unions. This would most likely include firemen and police officers, which means their pensions would be cut, and while including the medical pensions, which would involve on-the-job injuries. They also provided no statistics. Never mind. My opponents were also saying that California schools were basically too desirable because of their flooding. This is not an acceptable answer, as capitalist doctrine indicates that we adapt or die. The school system cannot die, but is dying at this point, and so it needs to adapt. My opponents also mentioned that the Republicans are very sure of the budget they have for schools. And I would like to ask them that if Republicans are so sure on a budget, why are Cal States on Jerry Brown's side? My opponents also mentioned that mentioned the taxation of CSU employees who earned over $200,000. I'd like to point out that taxing the overall population percentage of their $250,000 and above salaries or revenue or whatever would be a much better option than taxing a few people who work for the Cal State system who make $200,000 or more. My opponents mentioned that it's not their job to bring up an alternative, but I'd like to ask them how much longer we would have to wait. California's been in debt for years and years, and we need a solution now. Jerry Brown's solution is definitely a good one, but if we turn it down, at this point, we will have to possibly settle for something worse than Jerry Brown's solution later on, seeing as California has been in this recession for quite a while. My opponents also pointed out that no one saw the unemployment rates getting better coming, and they point out that our math is wrong, so our predicted numbers will be wrong. But that also means that our opponents' tax initiatives will also be a little disfigured in their data, meaning that Jerry Brown's, in the grand scheme of things, is still one of the better options. I'd also like to remind everyone that the Cal State schools, as pointed out in the Los Angeles Times article, are dealing with the $750 million in cuts from 2011 to 2012 fiscal year, plus at least $200 million cuts, if minimum, if Jerry Brown's bill doesn't pass. I'd also like to point out that Jerry Brown initiative has time put into it. It was originally scheduled for the April ballot, but since is fused with the millionaire tax. And earlier on, the main concern was that Brown's initiative just was sped through too quickly. But Brown's initiative has had plenty of time now and is basically ready to go. I'd like to point out that in the U.S. Census Bureau, it was confirmed that only 4.1% of Californian households make more than $200,000. This is including millionaires, billionaires, as far as that goes in California. And that is a very small portion of California that can afford to give very big amounts. The U.S. Census Bureau also pointed out that the $200,000 plus income group is the smallest, next to the 5.6% who earn less than $10,000 a year.